Richard. We're going to be talking about legalising hard drugs. Well, it's kind of been done by stealth. That's what the police are accused of doing now. According to new Home Office data, nearly 4 out of 10 people caught with hard drugs aren't now given a criminal record. Well, let's talk about this right now with Harry Miller. He's a former police officer and founder of the brilliant Fair Cop. Good morning to you, Harry.
Yeah. Hi, Julia. Again, another bonkers story, isn't it?
Well, you say a bonkers story. I mean, we may have different views on this one. I mean, I've not got much time, and it's my fault I've not. But basically saying people caught with class A drugs like cocaine and heroin are being let off. They're not being given a criminal record. Do you think they should or they shouldn't be?
No, I think they should be. The fact of the matter is, violent crime is intrinsically linked to drugs. So when you start, in effect, decriminalising Class A drugs, you've got a serious problem. Class A drugs, where you find Class A drugs, you will find Class A criminals. And it's the job of the police to disrupt these supply chains, not to downgrade the supply chains. You've got to get in there and you've got to stop it. Now, I saw in that report that community resolution orders are being used now instead of prosecuting people who deal in and use Class A drugs. Well, community resolution orders, they are there for very minor disputes. So, for instance, if 2 neighbours fall out and one breaks the window of the next door neighbour, then rather than prosecuting, you use a community resolution order
where everybody agrees
not to do it again. Yeah, well, it's got nothing to do with dealing with Class A
Well, and that's
drug.
the key thing, isn't it? It's not up to the police to decide the law. We've had, democratically elected members of parliament to decide the law, and people can campaign to, get laws tightened or loosened. But the law is the law of the land. But do you think there's just this whole thing in the media and political classes, and I imagine in the justice world as well? Well, they know loads of people who do cocaine. They might well do it themselves. They smoke cannabis. They don't want their kids criminalised, do they? And there's just a much more relaxed attitude among that particular group of people.
Well, we've got to decide, as you say, is it against the law or not?
Yeah.
That's the thing. And if it's against the law, we've got to deal with it. Now, I noticed that the police say, oh, we can't do anything because we haven't got guidance. Well, since when did we elevate guidance to the position of law? We have a law, and it's the police's job to enforce the law. If the community don't like the law, it's their job to lobby politicians to change the law. But what we mustn't do is continue to rely on guidance. The law is the law. It's the police's job to enforce it, and particularly when it's around Class A drugs, which are intrinsically linked to Class A crimes.
Yeah.
You cannot turn a blind eye to it and then moan about violence and county lines and illegal immigration and people trafficking, because all of it is interlinked. It's all part and parcel of the same supply chain. So if you care about any of those things, you need to care about Class A drugs, and you need to have a police force that is willing to deal with it. It's as simple as that, Julia.
Absolutely. And an awful lot of people, again, who do those drugs, they chose to ignore a lot of that side of it, completely ignoring how these things get into the country. Is legalising it the answer, though? You've got about 10 seconds, yes or no?
No, absolutely not. I don't think, certainly not Class A drugs. No, criminalise them. Absolutely criminalise them. Okay. Get them off the streets. They are a scourge on society.
With you all the way on that one. I know a lot of our audience might disagree, but do get in touch. Harry Miller, former police officer, founder of Fair Cop, thank you very much. Apologies for the time being so short. Still with me is Tom Slater, editor of Spiked Online. You're quite liberal on these things, aren't you?
I think the war on drugs has been a catastrophic failure. I'm surprised that so many MPs are trying to extend it. And prohibition has always been a tremendous failure. But I agree with Harry completely that you have laws or you don't.
Yeah.
You've got to enforce
It's not
them.
up to the police to decide.